All right, good evening, folks. It is May 15th, 2025. I mistakenly said it was 2024 in my video earlier today, and the comments were cracking me up because I was talking about a 5x for XRP. And funny enough, if you look back a year ago, we were actually on the verge of doing that 5x from 50 cents to 250. But in this morning's video, the context behind it was, the title was another 5x for XRP, meaning that we're going from 250 to 1250, from a $2 XRP to a 2-digit XRP. And I was laughing at that, so I want to get our date correct. It's May 15th, 2025. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. We have another live show tonight, absolutely critical, covering our markets, this SEC versus Ripple staged lawsuit. All the world's a stage, huh? You got a lawsuit that starts under the first Trump administration, and an appointment of Jay Clayton from President Trump files this lawsuit on his last day. They drag us out through 4 years of this SEC versus Ripple drama, and the act is finally coming to an end. There's just a few final scenes to play out here. In this regard, we're talking about a few more filings. And these filings need to be done properly. Judge Torres blocking and denying the settlement agreement from the SEC and Ripple. And I'm going to show you guys here in this next clip from Eleanor Terrett. She's talking to how ironic and funny, how hilarious it is that after all of this that we've been through, we now come back and the SEC and Ripple are working together, which is why I titled my second video update today, the SEC partners up with Ripple, because essentially they're in a partnership now to bring this lawsuit to an end and to really set an example of the SEC showing we're done coming after and attacking entrepreneurs, capitalists within the cryptocurrency space. We're here to work with you. We're not here to stifle innovation any longer. We never should have brought some of these cases, which is why they've been able to drop all of these other cases, no issue, because they were just in the beginning processes. Some of them had just received a Wells notice. Other lawsuits had been filed, but it was easy to pull them out. This SEC versus Ripple case has already been moved out of the original district court up to that Second Circuit Appeals Court. And Judge Torres is not liking the SEC coming back and saying, hey, can you forget about the last 4 years of the argument and case that we were making against Ripple, against XRP, the digital asset, trying to say that it's a security in all instances and all sales. And we're sorry that we were wrong on that point, that you already proved us wrong and as a matter of law stated that we were wrong. Now we want to fold our hand, and we also want to bring it back to you and ask that you lift the injunction that we fought and requested for you to place on Ripple. We need you to bring that one back for us as well, too. So reasonably, Judge Torres is a little bit ticked off by that. And some could ask, is really all the world a stage here? Are we just watching an act play out before us? Because you couldn't make this up, right? I laugh, and I have to laugh. I apologize. I'm sympathetic for folks that are new to XRP, have only been here for a few months. I hope that we are able to educate you about XRP and keep you around. I know some people getting shaken up, but I can't help but laugh at folks that are frustrated and getting anxious and getting impatient, commenting that they've been here for a couple months, and I can't believe that this case isn't over. It's like, well, my friend, sit down, take a seat. We've been here in this lawsuit for 4 years. Myself, I've been in XRP since 2018, so I've been holding on to this asset for a chunk of my life at this point. And we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere, and we're going to ride this one out to the very end. And the end is very soon. Now, I'm going to share a couple tweets here that will provide important context from Stuart Alderati and a few other folks here as well, Eleanor Terrett, Fred Rispoli, giving us a little bit of clarity on what this ruling today means. Take a look at it here from Stuart Alderati. Nothing in today's order changes that Ripple wins. The XRP is not a security. This is about procedural concerns with the dismissal of Ripple's cross appeal. Ripple and the SEC are fully in agreement to resolve this case and will revisit this issue with the court together. Eleanor Terrett follows up. She says, after speaking with 3 legal sources and tuning into John Deaton's live analysis, which I unfortunately missed that. I might have to go back and watch that. John Deaton giving us an update. That's great to see. She says, my read is that Judge Torres is playing hardball here. She's not making it easy for the parties to simply walk away. Instead, she'll make them work for it. Deaton raises a valid point from Torres' perspective that the SEC has spent the past 5 years doubling down, I should add, making Ripple spend $150 million plus on their lawyers. They have been doubling down on a narrative and legal strategy that resulted in thousands of hours of legal and judicial manpower, only for the agency to suggest that those 5 years were essentially a waste. While Torres has denied their initial request, she outlined a clear path forward. And my apologies, guys. I might be clearing my throat. I might be coughing. I'm getting over a little bit of that little snivel, you know. I'm hearing that a little something's going around, but praise God, we've passed through it. My family caught a little bit of case of the snivels, but nothing big, nothing bad. And so, yeah, thank God for health and thank God for wealth. We are thankful for that. My apologies, though, if I'm hacking up or coughing during this live show tonight a little bit. She outlined a clear path forward, provided that the SEC and Ripple can meet the legal standards and present a compelling case that withdrawing her ruling is in the best interest of the public and institutional buyers of XRP. Now, do we have some folks in the XRP community that could help chime in and tell Judge Torres about the damages done? Could we give Judge Torres the red folder with our tally of the damages that, in my opinion, range well into the hundreds of billions and very well could end up being over trillions of dollars of damages, depending on where XRP goes once the shackles are off of us. Now, the shackles are off XRP, but we need the full clarity for Ripple as far as selling XRP to institutional partners. And that's what they're trying to get appealed and not appealed, withdrawn, is this injunction that the judge had placed on Ripple for the institutional sales. And so Ripple's agreed to pay this fine. The SEC's agreed that we can lift the injunction. They can proceed with their business going forward. But we're just having Judge Torres a little, upset that all of this work's gone into this only for the SEC to now be withdrawing this. And she's essentially just making us dot a couple more I's, cross a few more T's, and this case is going to be wrapped up. Now, Stuart Alderati mentioned that Ripple will work with the SEC to revisit the issue together. Pretty wild considering they've been on opposite sides for nearly 5 years. It'll be even more interesting to see if Torres eases up once they've done the necessary work, or if she sticks to her guns and makes this more of a political fight. Uh-oh. Some folks are saying it's not over till it's over. I'm telling you, it's over. I'm telling you, this thing's about to be wrapped up. I think that Judge Torres is going to be reasonable in this case. She's just saying, hey, guys, respect the court a little bit and at least file this properly. Please. I understand you're the government, but you basically have disrespected and wasted our time here within my court. And so I just ask that you guys file this properly. I think that she's going to be reasonable and accept the new filing that will be done. I even seen Ashley Prosper basically put together the full background on what this motion was, the procedural background, and what needs to be done going forward. Grounds for relief, exceptional circumstances justifying relief, public interest considerations. Boy, do we have a red folder with a lot of damages to let her know about. Adequacy of penalty reduction, conclusion. He puts this all together, right? Ashley Prosper, they basically put together a whole motion response here in this tweet. Fred Rispoli basically commenting the same thing, the translation off of this quote here. By styling their motion as one for settlement approval, the parties fail to address the heavy burden they must overcome to vacate the injunction and substantially reduce the civil penalty. The translation is, you effing wasted 5 years of my time on this, and that is ridiculous. Refile, and if you beg for relief and give me a heavy detail on why you wasted my time and why I should do this, I just may. Now, Fred says, what would I do? File a 25-page motion, describe all the other cases being dropped, file declarations from the commissioners described the failures of the SEC to do any meaningful work on crypto guidance, etc. I do think that it will get done, but that's going to take at least 2 to 3 weeks for Ripple and SEC to put together a file, another week or two for the judge to rule. So we might still be another month out before that gets completed. And so at this point, we're still maybe a month or two out from this case officially coming to the end of the show. And I just can't help but laugh after watching this play out, after being so close. And I know we're so frustrated. I understand how bad it is out there. I've been pounding my table about a recession since 2022. So I understand completely. And if you're new here, welcome to the party. Welcome to the family. Okay. In this family, we don't quit. We don't give up, and we understand what we have invested in fundamentally, which is why we have so much conviction, why we are not distracted by this back and forth at this point, which is just noise, and we've been focused on accumulation. Whether it was, the noise from this case today or the noise from this case going back for 4 years, we stuck to the plan. And by the way, in the comments of my last video, I asked you guys, who here is thankful that this case drug on for 4 years and allowed you guys to stack up a bunch more XRP? And I had a bunch of people in the comments respond and say that they are very thankful and grateful that this case carried on so long because, people saying I was able to make it to the 1%. I was able to hit all my targets. And so we took advantage of this opportunity. We've been doing it for 4 years, and we're going to be here for another 4 years, right? This is not a short-term trade for most of us. Myself, I can say that, I'm going to skim a little bit of profit on the way to double-digit prices, to triple-digit prices. But the conviction here with XRP is that it's a great asset to hold as a reserve currency, to be able to partake in the price appreciation that is set to come over the next 5 to 10 years that is really going to be substantial, but also having the ability to use XRP within the new financial system. And I think that it's very easy to see who views XRP just as a trade, a way to make some more dollars, and who views XRP as a piece of the new financial system that you control. Right? It's easy to see who wants to control a new piece of the financial system versus who wants to make a quick flip. And I think that you have the completely wrong perspective if you're just looking to make a quick flip. Now, there's nothing wrong with making a quick flip. You buy some XRP now, you flip it when it goes to $4 or $5, you flip it when it goes to $10. I get it. That's great. But I think that many people are going to miss the opportunity to just accumulate as much as possible as we go up to substantially higher prices. And that, once again, on a time frame wise, in my opinion, we will see double digits for XRP this year, and we will eventually see 3 digits at some point, whether that be a few years down the road, 5 years, 10 years. I firmly believe that we're heading in that direction. And it's just a dynamic of how much adoption will lead to, utility and price appreciation versus, how many people are just going to end up holding this asset. I was thinking today with Doppler Finance, they're doing a new batch for Doppler, and I'm not saying anything positive or negative about Doppler Finance. I'm just acknowledging that they're looking to collect another batch of 20 million XRP for their centralized yield platform. I'm not going to call it a CDFI. I'm not going to call it whatever some of these new names are. I'm just going to call it what it is, which is a centralized yield platform. They're looking to do another batch. They've already done 10 million XRP. Now they want to do 20 million XRP. This is 20 million XRP, and it won't be my XRP, but it's going to be some other people's XRP, I guess, because they've already filled 10 million. Now they're going to do 20 million. And you have to understand that this is 20 million XRP that doesn't get used for cross-border payments. This is 20 million XRP that doesn't get used for liquidity in any sort. So when you are addressing serious liquidity problems, serious markets that are moving tremendous amounts of volume, this is liquidity that's literally in the trillions of dollars, and you have a limited supply of said tokens to fulfill that liquidity, you have to have a higher price. It is inevitable that you have a higher price if you are continuing to get more adoption, more holders, and the amount of volume that you're bringing to said ledger continues to grow as well. That's what we've been witnessing all while this case is played out. Now, I understand many folks getting frustrated and they're saying, how could the Ripple lawyers mess this up? Fred Rispoli provided some good context. He says the lawyers didn't do their motion wrong. They just opted for the easy way and hoped that Torres would go along with it, as I also hoped and assumed that she would. But she's going to make them do the work now. So basically, they were hoping that Judge Torres was going to play nice. SEC Ripple draft this together. They put it forward. Judge Torres says, put some respect on my court, and that's where we're at. Not a big deal. And I already mentioned on Twitter, and I already mentioned in my video earlier today, but I'm going to repeat again, any pullback is just another opportunity. It is. I know, folks, I see comments, we're tired of buying opportunities. Cue up the influencers saying buying opportunities. You have to have sympathy for new folks that are just now getting into XRP, looking to stack their first 1,000, looking to stack their first 10,000. Not everybody was so fortunate to learn about XRP years ago like some of us were, and to be able to acquire XRP under $1, acquire XRP under 50 cents, acquire XRP under a quarter. And so, although it might not be a buying opportunity for me and some of you, this is an opportunity for newcomers, and we want the newcomers to, come in and understand what's going on here. And that's why we're providing the updates on a daily basis. That's why I come to do this live show, go through an update and do Q&A. I only have a few more data points that I'd like to go through before we do open it up for Q&A. I'm not going to go for a couple hours on tonight's live show because I'm already got the snivels and a scratchy throat. So we're just going to go for about an hour or so. But I want to get your guys' comments and questions. And for the new people here, just stick around with us. You're going to understand that this is bigger than just a little flip. This is bigger than, hey, I'm going to double up my money. I'm going to turn $500 into 1,000. What myself and many in this community have been focused on has been how much of this asset have I been able to acquire. My first 1,000, my first 10,000, my first 100,000 XRP, my first 1 million XRP. And we got folks literally putting tens of thousands of XRP into memes, meme coins, NFTs. You got tens of millions of XRP going to different yield products and farming this. You got a bunch of XRP that's going into the AMM already. And we're still so young within this ecosystem. The DeFi is about to explode. And nobody is really understands this in the broader crypto space. This is something that only the XRP community understands. And so I'm sorry for reiterating the basics for the folks that have been here forever, but for the newcomers, our DeFi and XRP didn't exist until really this last year. We didn't even have an AMM until about a year ago. Now our ecosystem is starting to explode. And so you have price pressure coming from retail activity. Literally, degenerates are putting tens of thousands of XRP into NFTs. So I saw, what was it, a fuzzy, what was it, some crazy thing, some crazy NFT, and somebody put 10,000 XRP into it. I've seen other NFTs. I think the highest NFT purchase ever was almost 50,000 XRP that I've seen. Maybe there's been more, but I've always pointed this out. This is 50,000 XRP that's basically tied up in a pixelated picture that cannot be used for liquidity or anything else until that NFT gets sold, and then it could be made available again. But basically, it's not circulating right now because it's value locked within a pixelated picture. When you add up the degenerate activity and the playing around with institutions on the same exact ledger, acquiring the same XRP digital asset, these are the two forces that are going to be pushing that price higher and higher. And I think that this Joey wallet that's about to get released here in the next month is going to onboard. We're about to double and triple up the amount of wallets that we have on the XRP ledger. Because what they've done here is they've simplified and streamlined the onboarding process with the Joey wallet. We're going to be onboarding millions and millions and millions, of people to the XRP ledger. We don't have that many people here, which is an important thing for everybody to understand. There's only, 5-6 million wallets. Many of us have multiple wallets, myself included. I have over half a dozen, probably 10, 12, maybe a dozen wallets on the XRP ledger. Right? So there's literally a few million of us here that actually own XRP. That's how small we are. And if this asset was just a normal cryptocurrency, no big deal, would they have brought us through this whole staged out lawsuit? Would they have taken us through this entire journey? Right? It seemingly at times we wonder, are we watching a show? This is not an ordinary asset. And Ripple is not an ordinary company. Now, I want to talk on a couple points and then we're going to get to our Q&A. How's everybody doing tonight? I see a couple super chats came through. Let me check that real quick and then we'll continue on. Troy, thank you for the 8 spot. Appreciate that. Legend, thank you for the 20 spot, brother. The people want another giveaway. I will keep you guys ready. I should make a note here. The last time we did something like this, it went crazy. And so there are a batch of orders for merch that we had a technical issue where we were able to get your order on my website. There was a technical issue with forwarding the email to my merchandise vendor. And so we're in the process of fulfilling that batch of orders. So if you have any inquiries about a recent merch order, you might be part of that. So just email us merch@zachrector.com. I linked it up in the description of this video for everybody. We really apologize for that technical issue that took place. We've now discovered it and we're in the process of fulfilling those orders right now. Okay. And we're going to get these orders out. We also are experiencing major issues in Canada. So please note, we've added a note on our website to Canada. Canada is taking about 2 to 4 weeks right now for delivery. We are getting orders to Australia, Europe, the UK. We've sent it to Sweden, Finland, faster than we are to Canada right now. So we apologize. That's out of our control. But we did have an issue with a technical issue with our system. And so there's a batch of orders that we're fulfilling right now. For anybody that has any questions about that, just email merch@zachrector.com. Okay? But yeah, Legend, we kind of we put the system to the test, to say the least. But we're going to be doing some more fun stuff, so you guys stay tuned for that, okay? Absolutely. And that's what it's all about, is we're going to just try to keep on giving back. We're going to try to keep on bringing in new people into the XRP family. That's the goal. That's the objective. Thank you very much. Smile Guy, thank you for the 5 spot. Watching from Western Australia. Thanks for all you do, Zach. I sold 800 XRP the other day to buy another project car. I feel so dirty. Please forgive me. 800 XRP? Well, what kind of project car did you get for that? What are we talking about? 800 XRP? What is that in Australian? What's that in Aussie bucks? That must have been a rust bucket. Any rust bucket that rolls these days, people want like 10,000 bucks for. I don't know what the used car market is doing right now. At least over the last few years, it seemed like everybody that wanted a stack of, wanted 10 racks for their rust bucket that still was able to fire up and roll down the road. Any rust bucket that rolled, people wanted 10 racks. So maybe it's not like that in Australia, but that's okay, Smile. We all have our reasons for taking some profits along the way, right? I don't shame anybody for taking profits. Like I said, if you want to quick flip a bag of XRP, I understand. I'm taking profits on XRP along the way too. But while doing so, I know what I still have. I have a bag that doesn't get touched, that doesn't get played around with at all, that doesn't move. It is not circulating. I need to report my XRP to XRP scan and say, hey, first off, my XRP identifies as a reserve currency. Please take note of that. But my XRP is also not circulating. So let's update XRP. Let's update the ledger. I got a bag right here and it's never leaving. So just take it out of circulation on CoinMarketCap. Let's just remove my, a chunk of my bag. Not all of my bag, but a big chunk of my bag. It's not in circulation. Nobody's getting it. Period. Besides my children. As long as they behave themselves. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed my story of getting the little fishy fish. It seemed like folks enjoyed the comments. So I did my video earlier from the PetSmart parking lot after I went in to go get a plant for the little fish, little beta fish that I got my kids. And I ended up walking out with a snail and 2 shrimp. And I'm just thinking, how did we get here? How did this happen? Here I am with my bag. And the best part too, the very nice gal at PetSmart was filling me in on educating me on the algae and how to take care of it and whatnot. And I guess we were doing all the right things. We're doing the right things. So we were on the right steps. But yeah, gal named Jilly Bean's helping me out. And I'm having a conversation about, fish tanks and all this. And I see her name badge and it's Jilly Bean. And I said, how did we get here? How did this happen? Folks, I was out on official business. Next thing I know, I got a snail, shrimp, and some plant. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what's going on. But I did give in. I said it's a slippery slope because we start with the beta fish. Next thing, they might want something. We're not doing the hamster. I had a hamster when I was a kid. I know how smelly those get. Dogs, cat. Yeah. Down the road. I'm trying to buy myself some time, okay? A lot of people in the comments were like, get your kids pets. They deserve pets, all this. I said, I am, guys. We're working there. I'm trying to buy myself a little bit of time, okay? I'm not anti-animal. I love animals. I love our little fishy fish. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing until I'm down there, and next thing I know, I'm helping my daughter feed little Pinky. That's what we named our fish, little Pinky. Oh, here we go. Here's where we're at. Oh, man. I absolutely blessed, though. I wouldn't have it any other way. What a joy. What a joy. Let's continue on. I got a few more points to get to, and then we're gonna go to Q&A. Okay? Thank you so much. And Smile Guy, we do forgive you for buying that project car. But Smile Guy, here's the thing about selling your XRP for that project car. Okay, we want you to fill us back in. We're going to expect you to follow up. I don't know if you need a year or two or what the deal is, but we need you to follow up with us when you sell the project car for way more and then you buy back your XRP. Although by then it might be too late. You better get this project car turned around quickly, because if you try to get back in on XRP, who knows? The premium might be 500, 1,000% higher. So get that project car fixed up quick there. John Patek, thank you for the 10 spot. Will this have an impact on the ETFs? No, the CME is going to go live on the 19th with the futures, and that's the next step for the ETFs. No delays on the ETFs. Those are on the way because those come directly from the SEC. They just want to see that futures go live on the CME. Once that's in place, it's all a green light from there. Yeah, no issues there. ETFs on the way. ETFs on the way. That one guy, thank you for the 5 spot. Appreciate that. 1970 Legend. Appreciate you, brother, for another 20 spot. Says, I'm ready. I want to gift even more this time. We'll go big. We'll go big with it, brother. Dennis, thank you for the 5 spot. I said it all along, not over till the judge sings. The SEC needs to proper legal authority, accepted case law to give the judge cover. She's upset. Yeah, absolutely. And rightfully so. I mean, I know a lot of folks are saying, oh, Obama appointed judge. She's a Democrat judge, all this. She's supposed to uphold the law. You know, these judges are not supposed to be political positions, but you guys know what's happening in our country. But I think that her ruling was actually fair for what was in front of her when she provided the summary judgment. And she was dealing with an SEC that was trying to get a lot more. So she actually did resist the SEC, and I thought that she was pretty fair. You know, so yeah. XRP 777 Riddler, thank you for the 2 spot. Get a Pomsky, best dog ever for kids, smart and calm. I'm trying to buy myself another 5 years on a doggy dog. That's my, you know, I like to buy myself some time, okay? You know, you're making children, you're bringing in animals. A lot of mouths to feed, you know? You know, maybe we can get a doggy dog after, well, I don't want to say anything. I know Digital Asset Investor said something. I think that he had told his family that they could get a dog or something after XRP went to $3 or something like that. And so I think I already heard him talk about how he had to pony up and get a little dog or something. I forget what that was, but oh, the joys. Okay. Continuing on here, guys, this is the issue with Coinbase today. I wanted to make sure everybody's aware of this. And this is why we got to be careful where we're at with our funds, who we're talking to, who we're not talking to. Watch out for the impersonators and scammers. I will not DM you. I don't have any copy trading. So please watch out for that. But this issue today is Coinbase. They were outsourcing some of their customer service. And the folks that they were outsourcing it to basically sold off, it sounds like, or leaked out customer information. And so we're already seeing reports coming in of these scammers trying to reach out to folks. So watch out. This is from KW here on X. He says, was likely a victim of this data breach, got a number of calls from scammers pretending to be Coinbase. The scam roughly goes like this. They call you to tell you your Coinbase account has been compromised. They pretend to do a bunch of personal info verification, including how much money you have in your account, so that they don't, and he's saying so that they don't waste time with small accounts. Then they ask you to withdraw your coins to Coinbase self-custodial wallet. They help you set up the Coinbase wallet by giving you a seed phrase. Once you've made the transfer, take all your coins. As they know the seed phrase, right? So basically, you're transferring it to their wallet. That's what's happening. I called them out at the end of the call, telling them they need to set up their game because their scam is, And they told me that they had 7 million that day. So they've already scammed 7 million plus out of Coinbase users with these. So guys, in most cases, you're not going to be reached out to by Coinbase or any of these exchanges. A lot of Coinbase users' data has been breached. Myself, I might be included in this as well, but I ignore every single email that I get from Coinbase. I don't even look at them, like, period, right? On other exchanges, I haven't had any issues, but Coinbase has been notorious for a couple of their data breaches that they've already had. And so I don't even look at them. I see an email from Coinbase support. I don't even look because they say Coinbase support at the top. But if you actually look at the email, it'll be some random scammer's email. So please know that that's happening right now. Please be safe. I haven't seen anybody having issues on Uphold or Caleb and Brown. Those are a couple other exchanges or platforms. They aren't even exchanges. They're brokers that I work with. I have assets on all three of these. I have, XRP and other digital assets on Coinbase, Uphold, and Caleb and Brown. The thing that I like about Uphold is I've never had any issues with them. My business with Uphold has always been straightforward, and they allowed me to acquire a massive amount of XRP during the lawsuit when all of the exchanges in America were delisted. So Uphold holds a special place in my heart. Recently, I've come in, partnership with Caleb and Brown, and I've stacked some XRP over there. I bought my Zebek over on Caleb and Brown, and I really like their level of service. In my opinion, is unmatched with their personalized brokerage service, and then they put everybody in institutional grade custody. That's very important, and I haven't heard of any of them having any sort of customer data breaches at all. Now, of course, for my long-term holdings, I don't have them on any platform. I don't have them on any exchange, right? And so please just stay safe. Understand that Coinbase did have another data breach. They're working on solving it right now, but just watch out and be alert for that, please. Never give anybody your crypto. Never give anybody your seed phrase. Period. Full stop. I mean, just think about this. There's just no reason for you to be giving anybody your XRP right now, right? If you want to, go into the AMM, okay. If you want to go into one of these yield opportunities, okay. These DeFi opportunities, that's different. But in 99% of circumstances, there's no reason for you to be giving your XRP up. There's never any reason for you to give up your seed phrase. Never do so. And just assume that nobody's coming to help you, but people are coming to take your money and take your XRP and other digital assets. If you run with that assumption that the person that you're talking to might be a scammer, might be trying to take your crypto, you'll be far better off. This is cutthroat out here. And I've warned about this in the past. I want to reiterate. Our community in particular has more wealth than most other crypto communities. It's just a fact. There's a reason why XRP's been in the top 10 for the last decade. And there's a lot of wealth within our community. Our community is specifically going to be targeted because of that. Right? You have a lot of wealth, and you have a lot of people in XRP that are also older and maybe not as tech savvy. So we have a vulnerable community in that regard. Okay. And that's just a matter of, demographics and who scammers typically target. And so that's why I wanted to sound the alarm about that. Okay. Now, continuing on here. Are we taking bets on how long Pinky makes it? Gotta be. That would be. Yeah. We should set a bet on that, huh? That would be a fun. That'd be a fun one. We set a bet. Hey, the winner gets some XRP. That'd be fun. But we shouldn't be betting on Pinky's life. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. 2.5 years ago, I got scammed 10,000 XRP on a Flare airdrop. Exactly. There's no way to get the Flare airdrop at this point unless you've already set up for it. Anybody reaching out to you about the Flare airdrop at this point is a scammer, full stop. Full stop. And they still are. It's one of the most prevalent scams that I see in my comments on TikTok is the Flare airdrop. They're hammering TikTok. They're hammering TikTok with the Flare airdrop in the QFS ledgers. Both scams. Scams all the way, 100%. Anybody talking about QFS ledger, wallets, and anybody talking about the Flare airdrop, how to get set up for it, scam. Okay? Please be safe out there. Yeah. And these scam ads, they just continue to run. Yep. The 5-day cooling off period on Uphold, I believe they don't have that if you buy with a debit card. And so that's one way to get around it, I know, is if you buy with a debit card or if you buy with other crypto, you're fine. I think that it's a matter of the legacy. They want to make sure that the legacy banking system clears your transaction before they proceed to let you, go forward. So I think that that's what the cooling off period is. It's not Uphold, it's the traditional banking system that they have to work with. I believe that that's why they do it. So, yeah. Now, let's continue on here, guys. Couple more points, and then we'll go to Q&A. Ripple teams up with the WEIA to launch the XRP Ledger pilot supporting 300 Colombian farmers with blockchain-based income and credit solutions. I love to see it. Ripple just is not stopping. They just gave $25 million to teachers. Now we got this deal here for 300 Colombian farmers, blockchain-based income and credit solutions. Now, this to me actually sounds kind of like the problem that Zebek is solving, right? Real-time streaming payments. This sounds like, blockchain-based income and credit solutions. This sounds like something similar to what Zebek has kind of been addressing. And this is why I like to pick up other coins like that as a hedge, right? You got to understand with these markets, it's not like Ripple's going to get all of it, right? There's going to be a few major players. And so that's why I like to hedge in this streamlining payments and payroll, there's really not that many competitors. And so I picked up Zebek because of the fundamentals behind that and the addressable market that they're going after. It's a real problem. And you're seeing Ripple working on it as well, too, it sounds like to me. So I love to see that. Wrath of Kahneman chimes in and he says, very excited about this. Nutrisource, Valency International, and Oceanus Agritech has been simmering in the background for a while and has lots of trade implications. Curious if other projects like Odin Pay provide models or implementation experience. And I think he's alluding to some of the other Ripple partners and how this could be expanded. These are other companies within agriculture. That's why he says agritech. This is Ripple working with people within the agricultural industry to basically tap into Web3 is what's taking place. Now think about this for a second. Ripple's helping out the central bankers and governments, and they're also down here helping out farmers. They're helping out teachers. I know that they've been doing some serious work in Africa, along with Latin America. Ripple just continues to give, whether it be donations, whether it be through their strategic partners in these regions. They've planted a flag in every major jurisdiction at this point. Love to see it. Now, XRP continues to go viral. Here's Dave Portnoy being interviewed by CoinDesk. Why does Stool President own XRP? Well, FOMO. He says, it's not like I have some grand belief in it. It's what, $2.40? But what if it's the next Bitcoin? Uh-oh, Dave Portnoy, you're not supposed to be talking about this. XRP, the better Bitcoin. We might have a dog tag for that one. Let's let it roll.
I remember I was trying to buy an apartment in Miami and I got outbid by a crypto bro. And I'm just like, that bastard. Yeah, he just bought, he heard about Bitcoin when it was, I don't know, $8, $7. It's up on 100. I've slaved for 20 years and he just outbid. So yes, there's 100% of FOMO on everything. I think that's the meme coin. That's general. I mean, I don't know, Bitcoin, I don't know if there's as much FOMO now. It's so established, but like, that's why I'm in XRP. Like that it's FOMO. It's not like I have some grand belief in it, but it's what, $2.40 or something like that. It's like, what if that's the next Bitcoin? So FOMO, I think, plays a huge part.
Whoa. They better cut him off. Cut off Davey right there. We can't have him talking about that. And we've already played some of the clips of Dave talking on his podcast, his show there, about the millions of, I think he's, profited millions off of XRP already. I think he had like 500,000 XRP or something like that. So he bought himself a nice bag and he's already made a bunch of money on that. So it is absolutely beautiful to see. XRP just continues to go viral. We'll continue to watch that. One final point here. President Trump wrapping up his deals in the Middle East. And is it a coincidence that Ripple and President Trump are both in the Middle East at the same time under the protection of the United States military, along with the show that's been brought out with the horses, the purple carpet, the purple tie? Is this the final act in this great Riddler show that we've been watching? Is it a coincidence that Trump and Ripple are in the Middle East doing trillion-dollar deals at the same time? President Trump says that his Middle East trip could bring in 10 trillion in potential investments. How about that? We saw Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Every single one of them has $1 trillion for us. Every single one of them rolled out the red carpet, the purple carpet, the sword dance, motorcade with the Cybertrucks in Qatar. That was pretty cool. The respect that has been given to our president, and not just in words and a handshake and a little show, but in ink to paper, $1 trillion deals getting signed. Now, this is on top of the 5 to 6 trillion plus that President Trump already has committed from various companies that are going to invest in AI infrastructure. They're going to invest basically in America's infrastructure manufacturing. So now we have a total, I mean, we're talking 10, 15. Before long, we're literally talking about, 15, 20 trillion in commitments and deals to invest in America over the next decade. This is a reality. And it's been beautiful to watch how President Trump is addressing this debt issue. I understand that Scott Bessent says that we're not going to default. To me, if that truly is the case, we're going to have to get creative. And it's been nice to watch President Trump enact some of these things like the gold card, get deals done like this. And I know that he's going to hold them to it. We hope that his predecessor will as well too, right? We don't want to see 4 years of returning to restoring our republic, making America great again, allowing life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on a level playing field to take place, all for it to be torn away and destroyed. And so we're going to have to keep this momentum going, and we're going to need to elect, more people in Congress that put America first. We're going to have to elect another president that will put America first, similar to what we're seeing right now. You can say whatever you want. $1 trillion deal is $1 trillion deal. And we haven't done it once, twice, 3 times. We're talking about 10 to 15 trillion plus already committed. And like I said, you're either going to get on the right side of this transfer of wealth or you're not. It's your choice. No matter what you think of Trump, it's up to you to get on the right side and position you and your family, your business, and your community accordingly. That's our mission. That's our goal. What about the documentary? Yep. The documentary, I believe, drops next week. Is it next week or this week? Let me pull up Fruition, because I was wondering that too. Let's open it up for comments, questions. If you guys haven't already, please make sure you like the show, like the stream, help us out by sharing it out far and wide. And let's take a look here. Okay, so it's supposed to be hitting it this week, because they tweeted this out last week. It's supposed to be on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon next week. Rentals will be for $5, $4.99. And so get yourself ready to hold a watch party. We're going to bring in our friends, our families. We're going to be hosting watch parties across the world. And that's the beautiful thing, is that this case and this story is now finally coming to an end, right? We've been wanting this documentary to get released and go viral for this entire time that it's been completed, basically since like November. And although it's been frustrating waiting for it to get released, it couldn't be at a better time right now. Outside of XRP, what should we be looking at? We should be looking at coins with real utility, getting real adoption. We're talking about XLM, XDC, HBAR, Zebek, Algorand. Those are some of my favorites that I've had for a while. But I also have been, investing in the XRP futures contract as well. Yeah. Yep. Have I heard of Caspa? Yes, I have. I haven't looked at it though. What is going on with the Ripple case? Yeah, so basically Judge Torres denied the motion to lift the injunction and for the settlement agreement. And so it was because they didn't properly file it. So now they're having to go back and refile it. That's what's happening. Improper filing, improper procedural filing, and so they have to redo it. Dave Lyon has a very interesting take on this guy. Yeah, well, I'm not going to address. It's been interesting to watch some of these characters switch up though. They go from, wanting to be friends Then they switch up. It's crazy. What do you think about Digibyte? Probably more decentralized than Bitcoin. Interesting little coin. Probably will pump again. I don't own any. I have owned it a small portion in the past. I might actually have a little bag on Uphold. I have a small bag of Bitcoin Cash too. It's kind of another derivative of Bitcoin. Some would say the pure Bitcoin. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff out here, isn't there? There's some crazy stuff. Now that's what I was gonna say. Sorry, I got distracted. I was gonna say that besides just investing in XRP, I've also been trading the futures again. I got back in on that. Let's go here to our daily chart, and we'll take a look. This has been an interesting one to watch. Here's the XRP futures contract on Coinbase. My entry's down here at this yellow line, 213. Now, this thing did go all the way up to 270, which was one of my first targets. It happened so quickly, I didn't have an opportunity to take profit. But I was calling for 270 to 286. And we got up to 270 here on the futures contract. Now, on the spot market, we didn't. We only got up to 265. You'll see right here. And those targets were based off of these fib levels right here. This 618 and this 702 that I have at 271 and at 286. So that's where we had. I mean, we already got up in here, but we only went to 265 on the spot market. But that futures market, this is the arbitrage opportunity I've been talking about, already popped up to 270. And so I'm going to wait for us to pop back up, and I'm going to probably take profit on that XRP futures contract if we get back above 270. That's my exit target on that futures contract. It expires in May, but I can roll over to the next month if I want to. Okay. Bitcoin at 104. Bitcoin finished the day green. That's the thing. It was interesting. It was like the XRP news today kind of brought down Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin had already pulled back some, but then when the news about the XRP case dropped, the entire market kind of pulled back another notch. But Bitcoin finished the day green, right? Back up to 104,000 right now. Bitcoin structure's fine. I know that some folks are talking about how it's getting ready to roll over for a big correction. But to me, it looks like we completed we completed these pullbacks. And I think as long as Bitcoin can hang out here, we can see XRP make another move here shortly. Yeah, CME futures on the 19th. Yep. Do you anticipate another dip for XRP? Our community will probably front run the dip down to 220. So if we do pull back, I would say, we might dip below 230, but I wouldn't expect us to go below 220 unless something really bad happens at this point. We've got a range of consolidation between 220 and 250 that we've already traded in. We have good structure in this area, and everybody's going to front run that dip down to 220. Everybody's asking me about the next pullback because they want to acquire more. And so this is what we've seen on XRP is that, this buy wall is really strong at $2. Came in and saved us at $1.60. And recently, last week, for the Fed meeting, we pulled back to 207. We didn't make it all the way to $2 because folks were already front running the dip back to $2. So in similar fashion, I think that folks are going to front run the dip down to 230, 220. So I wouldn't expect us to break down below that 220 level. We need to see the market break in a major way for that to happen. Alien invasion might do it. Alien invasion might. $589 Phoenix asking me about lawn care tips in the chat. You got to pay extra for the lawn care tips, my friend. No, actually, I just got done mowing my yard. I have a lot of fun with the kids now. They come out and they help me. I get them with their earmuffs on, and we just got a little pretend lawnmower too for the kids. So we were having a good time there. I just got done. But I was trying to beat the rain here because I'm trying to get down another treatment of fertilizer on my lawn. Trying to maintain my patch of grass, you know what I'm saying? Keep the grass green, keep the garden full. I was telling myself I wasn't going to spend too much money on plants this year, and somehow I still managed to do so. I picked up another blueberry bush, picked up another shortcake raspberry bush. So I got my raspberry bushes, I got blueberry bushes. How's the arm wrestling training going? Yeah, we'll see if we catch up to Abs and have a chance for me to beat him in the arm wrestling competition. That'll be fun. My training has been stalled out though while I've had the snivels here. I haven't worked out for a few days, so I'll be back at it tomorrow is the plan. Actually, funny enough, I'm actually going to be on their show tomorrow. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern, I'll be on the Good Morning Crypto show tomorrow morning. Okay. And I think that's live. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. How long until Judge Torres signs off? Probably in the next month. Shouldn't take longer than a month. But yeah, I love the guys over there at Good Morning Crypto. That'll be a good time on their show tomorrow. Can I get a happy birthday to the person who introduced me to XRP, Nick Gurr? Nick, happy birthday. God bless you for spreading the good word about XRP. We appreciate you. Helping the XRP family grow. That's how we do it. What's up with XCN? Yeah, is it pumping again? XCN going on a little move again? Uh-oh. What do we got? XCN back up to 2 cents. Yep. You see where I think XCN's going. Right on up there to 10 cents. Maybe a little bit more. We still got a ways to go on XCN, but yeah, it looks like building some nice structure here, getting ready to move again. And it won't take much to move this one. It's still a low cap. If I go to CoinMarketCap real quick, I'll check on the... Yeah, it's still only at a 700 million market cap. It's nothing. It could easily move. Easily move. Jay, Jay, I just seen your comment. Thank you for the 5 spot. Jay says Pinky meme coin. Don't make a meme coin off of my fishy fish, okay? Don't do it. Don't make a meme coin off of my fishy fish. Yeah, I appreciate that. Pal's tie was purple today also. Yeah, legend. Pal always goes for the purple tie. May 30th, the XRP event. Paul Barron is moderating. Are you going, Zach? Yes. Yeah, I'll have an update. I'll be on stage for both days. I'll have an update on that. I'm doing MoonPay on Saturday. And then it sounds like we're going to be doing the guys from Tia Cream, or however you pronounce that group, that has the 2x daily long XRP ETF. So originally I was scheduled to do the CEO of iTrust Capital, Kevin Maloney, but he had some other issue that he had to go, or something else came up, so he wasn't able to attend. But to fill in, Brad Kimes just informed me today that the group from, Tia Cream, I think is how you pronounce it, they're going to be sending a representative to speak on their ETF. So that'll be on Friday. I'll be up there hosting that panel on Friday, be able to talk about their ETF. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Thank you so much. I will be back on the live show with Good Morning Crypto tomorrow morning. That'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then I will be dropping another update tomorrow after we see how the markets are rolling on Friday. So you can check back for that one. And then on Saturday, we have our Discord weekly call every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You can feel free to join us that. We do that call every Saturday. Chance for the community to connect, ask me questions, and we always have a good conversation in there. Okay? I hope you guys all have a great day, great evening, wherever you may be, and we will see you guys back tomorrow, okay? God bless you all. Thank you so much.